And welcome to pre-semi-final action, the playoffs of the Australian Mixed Ultimate Championships of 2019 on Ultimate Australia YouTube. Simon Told here with Steph Spear.
Hello.
And it's late in the day, the temperature's dropped a bit, but the wind...
It is absolutely freezing.
The wind's dropped off a little bit. It's been howling wind from right to left of screen all day, but down to nothing more than a stiff breeze at the moment.
Victoria very much put on 4 seasons in one day.
And in this pre-semi matchup, we've got Lunchbox from Brisbane currently on camera in the dark blue against the OG Squiddos playing out of Melbourne. The winner going on to face Soy Pud from Sydney in the semi-finals tomorrow morning. Least sends the first pull up. Tullett, Egan Griffiths. Prentice. Does match defense used here by Lunchbox? We've got a bit of a flat mark on Lunchbox, stopping the long shots, bar. To Prentice. To Andrews. He's got a couple of long options looking, just holds onto it. Edwards. Flores. Tollinson's big loopy one over the top to Andrews, and that's first goal for Ellipsis.
Very clinical offense there.
Yeah, Lunchbox, they kept a straight up force on there. Didn't really try and pin him to one sideline.
Yeah, the swing was quite easy, I think, back and forth.
So the first, we'll still call it an upwind downwind side, even though the breeze has really dropped off. Of course, Squiddos, they were expected to go through pool play undefeated, but succumbed to Pie Wagon earlier in pool play. Lunchbox had a bit of a tougher path. Had to win their last game to get their way through. Did so by taking care of Royal Dansk comfortably. Many of the OG Squiddos players playing with Ellipsis, as evidenced by their uniforms. So we think it's going to be a fairly low-key start to the game. We think mostly offense-based. The defense won't really gee up until later in the game. So it's Cook, Davis. Puts it wide, and Ely gets a run-through block there on a stray throw.
Excellent grab.
And a bit of a fumble there from Megan Griffiths, but calls a foul on Murphy. Uncontested. Takes her time, very patient with the disc, Egan Griffiths, and a nice easy shot, pops it up over the top, but Tullett cleans up the scraps. Was intended for Prentice. Everyone's crowded around the disc looking for space, but Andrew's looking just to lose a bit of ground there. Dennis puts it wide to McGuckin, and 2-0, just like that. And so that first throw from Lunchbox just had a bit too much pressure on it, was thrown behind the cutter a bit. So Steph, just for your mind, who are going to be the key defenders for the Squiddos in this game? We saw Ely get the run-through block there. Who else should we be watching for?
I definitely think Tullett will have a few. Just going to clear my throat, sorry. And I don't know, all round I think they're going to be quite a strong defensive team. I think you have to be in this wind. Definitely can't let anything slip away.
We know who the key throwers for Lunchbox are. Alex Leask, Thomas Vo, Jodie Brown. I think that we'd like to see maybe Adelaide Dennis take the Brown matchup.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very good in the short range. So 2-0. And if you're interested in the other semi-final, the Maikaroma versus Credo from New Zealand in the other pre-semi, that's on ulti.tv. They're usually got the subscription base, but they're putting out this pre-semi for free to all the fans out there.
How kind of them.
So we know a lot of New Zealand people get on board back in Credo, so head on over to Alti.tv to check out that pre-semi.
Let's see if Lunchbox can punch one in now so that OG Squiddos don't run away with it.
Moving it quickly, Birchall.
Oh, bit of a fumble.
There's been quite a few of them happening all weekend. Bar to play quickly. He's got Phillip in that dump space, doubles back. Swings across to McGuckin. He's got a couple of deep options, but they're not willing to shoot just yet. Bar puts it long and wide for McGuckin, but
didn't have a lot of under options at that point, so it was probably a good look.
Yeah. The wind has dropped right off.
It really has in the space
Almost,
of 30
it's almost
seconds.
completely still now, so
Yeah.
let's see if it stays this way for the next 80 minutes or so.
Fingers crossed.
So Thomas Vo, he'll restart play from about 60 from goal. Up the line to Leask.
That's lovely.
Has to have a second go at it.
Setting quite deep here.
Yeah, we've got a couple of players way out the back. McGuinness.
Oh,
Did well to get to that, had to really lunge for it. They said the quarter's quite deep, Lunchbox there, but Squiddos setting a nice close stack right in the middle of the field. Two cuts coming at once. I doesn't like either of them. Heads to Angelovic. Angelovic wanted to continue to the high side of the field. Phillip.
we need something under now.
Continues that break side, looking for Angelovic, but
Here comes that wind again.
yep, second throw away for Bar. The wind's sort of heading more across the field for this game, from the top to the bottom of the screen. And this is the 8th game in 2 days for these teams, so I think we're going to see a lot of fumbles and drops and overthrows. It's not going to be the tidiest game of Ultimate. Bar sends a long one to Dennis and Phillip. They can raffle it off. Dennis says, "You take this one, Joshi. I'll be here for backup if you need." So it's fast scoring. It's 3-0.
Be interesting to see how Lunchbox will respond now.
They haven't been playing. It's not like they've been playing terribly or getting outplayed here.
No.
They've just had a couple of 1 or 2 overthrows and fumbles.
Can imagine fatigue's taking a play as well, especially at this time of the afternoon.
Yeah. Of course, we're 5:40 p.m. in local time here. The teams have been in the fields over 9 hours now, so
Yeah, it's been a long one.
been a very long day. I'm certainly in no way envious of everyone out there. Steph, you took part for Ballarat in pool games earlier today.
I did indeed.
Yep. We were talking before about just how tough this weekend's been with the wind buffeting you constantly.
Very much makes a struggle for cutters, I think. Very much a handler tournament with the wind.
So 3-0. Andrews sets the pool, going to peg him right back. We've got Grimmond and Cook taking the cheap meters while they can. Simpson. Egan Griffiths matched up on Simpson. That's a good one to watch.
Lunchbox still spreading the field quite wide.
Tiong. The Cook.
Oh.
Tullett with nearly with the run through block.
That's a great
Cook's
look.
unguarded, takes a long shot to
Excellent.
Simpson. And that's the advantages they've got to take advantage. That's the opportunities they've got to take advantage of, Steph,
Absolutely.
when Squiddos overcommit on defense and miss out. They've got those unguarded shots.
Luckily now Lunchbox have punched one in, so hopefully they're feeling a bit more confident.
Yeah, gives them a chance to get on defense too. I think they're going to be more comfortable this game running down the pool, running down the opposition, than having to face a defensive line of several multi-time national representative players.
Absolutely. It's like they're sussing the disc out down there,
Yep.
possibly bent.
Game advisor Steve Baker there to consult. And I think they were not sure about the rule on that one, Steph. I think they were within the right to swap between points, just mid-point. It's only if the disc is damaged.
Correct.
Alex Leask to pull. Drew Birchall there on the right with him, one of the few locals at this tournament. Bendigo resident, but has played with Brisbane teams on a number of occasions at national championships, so they were willing to have her along. Big outside in, Paul. No one's going to catch it, but fielded smoothly by Egan Griffiths to Prentice. To Ely, takes the easy under. He has a look at the disc too. Burchett.
It's a great look.
Looking upfield and heads inboard to Ely. Just Leake's trying to do too much on defence, I think. Just needs to play a bit more honest. Tullett, little 1-2-3 with Egan Griffiths, and finds Burchett all on her own in the end zone. Just that fast disc movement from the Squiddos allows them to do so much.
Yep, they don't let defence set up for very long.
Very happy with themselves on that one. Yeah, I think a couple of times just Leask got caught a bit flat-footed there on Ely. Ely got that first underlook. He didn't even have to move too much. He just,
not at all.
Leask was set up behind him, and then on that second one, it was getting face guarded. So Leask was purely looking at Ely just to see what he's going to do next. But the advantage for the thrower is that the defence can't see the throw coming, so he can squeeze it through tighter gaps if the defence isn't looking. Of course, Lunchbox squeezing into third place in pool play earlier today. They were sitting behind Crank from Wollongong in the standings, but Crank had the matchup against Soypud, the undefeated team, having just lost to Lunchbox shortly before. Another pull from Andrews, got to pin them right back here. Davis. Elliot Cook. Grimmond. A lot of the cuts have gone away, so Squiddos just need to guard the undercuts now.
Yeah.
Murphy. He's got Gaunt long, but moves backwards to Grimmond. Out wide to Simpson.
Still working quite deep here, I think.
Yeah, picks called, and nice tidy cuts coming one at a time, but you're right, Seth, they're really far away from the disc here.
Very far, yeah. Seems to be working at the moment for them, though.
Davis to Simpson. They're working it down that high side of the field now. Grimmond. Across to Murphy. Great inside shot looking for Cook, but pick called well before that throw, so it'll head back.
Lunchbox seemed quite calm and collected with the disc here.
We know that Murphy's going to look for that inside shot to the high side now, so Squiddos could do well to tighten up that end zone defence. Grimmond wants that, keeps faking to tell his teammates, get open to that side, will you? And call violation on the mark. Whether, not sure what violation we might have seen there, Steph.
Yeah, I'm not sure what I saw either.
Maybe it was a bit marking a bit too close, or perhaps there was contact and he didn't drop the stall count. But again, they've settled on a foul call, uncontested, so he's got a fresh stall count to look at. Heads around the break side, looking for Cook too much. And Andrews cleans that D up. Takes his time walking up to the front of the end zone, allowing his players to set their structure up.
Lunchbox really pressed down on that defense. That was a great turn that they just generated.
Yeah, good pressure.
And now they get a second shot at the end zone.
Cook heads across to Murphy. Grimmond. Okay, they keep moving towards his near sideline. They want to move it out of there, and so Grimmond does that nice little 1-2 move, gets it out to Cook. Cook heads towards Davis, but Davis has started to turn back.
Yep.
Dennis runs through, Adelaide Dennis runs through to make sure of it.
Still, you can feel the panic around the end zone there for Lunchbox.
Prentice. Easy lateral to Andrews. To Dennis. Got a few coming at her. Chooses McGuckin. McGuckin's got Edwards one out against Davis at the back, but heads backwards. Using the whole width of the field here, Squiddos.
They're getting a lot of easy unders as well.
McGuckin sends out looking for Phillip.
Beautiful.
Waltzes in too easily. I think he might have been shooting at Edwards, but Phillip saw the opportunity and said, right, okay, if that's twice he's done that now.
It is, yes.
He's got a bit of tunnel vision there. Sees the disc in the air and thinks, all right, that's mine.
But you know what? It's working for him.
Yeah.
So.
So Lunchbox have called a timeout. So Coach Anson Chong there, what do you think he'll be saying to them right now, Steph?
I definitely think they're panicking a little bit in offense.
Yep.
They get good flow up until the end zone, and then there's a little bit of panic. They could probably spend a bit of time swinging it back and forth. Might as well take the whole time.
Yeah, there's certainly no rush in this game. There's no shot clock, no nothing. You can afford to go back and forth. On defense, what do you think they're going to need to look for to contain the easy lateral movement?
I think they should definitely force some of those long shots to come up a bit more.
Yep.
There's a lot of easy unders coming off at the moment. Squiddos just know how to use that space, and they're using the whole width of the field, as you said earlier.
Yeah. I think they're going with a, I think it looks like a straight up force, so they're giving them those that lateral movement a bit too comfortably.
Yeah.
I think that might be better served just picking one sideline, trying to pin them down to it.
Especially with the unpredictable wind, dying off for a bit, coming back.
Yeah. So the defensive tactics that, were in vogue earlier in the day might not necessarily be effective in this game. We did see that, Joshi. 5-1 to Squiddos. We definitely expect the Squiddos to be at the pointy end of the tournament. We all had them picked to be top of their pool, but Pirewagon just got the better of them. So now they're doing it the difficult way.
I'd like to see Lunchbox come up now and spook them a little bit.
Yeah.
I think it'd be
Make a
fun at
game
this
of it.
point. Yeah.
Of course, the other semi-final happening, as the other pre-semi-final happening between Mike Aroma and again another highly fancy team who we didn't expect to see having to fight their way to the top bracket.
Absolutely.
Taking on Credo. So we're coming up on 20-minute mark in this game. We haven't seen a lot of game. We haven't seen most games go to score cap, so to go to 15. But I think at this rate, we're going to see. The game finish before the allotted time. I think at the pace we're going. Talat sends a big outside in pull. That's going to flatten out and will drift back in bounds.
Beautiful.
He's done very
pull.
well with that.
That's lovely.
Vo.
Lunchbox deep again.
Yep. Grable. Piece of space comes under Leask. Leask, of course, a late addition to the Brisbane Breakers roster for the final of the AUL. Puts a shot up looking for Vo. Vo's taking it.
Beautiful grab.
That's the shot they were looking for, Steph.
Absolutely.
I think they just, I think they're better served trying to work the disc to about halfway down the field before taking the long shots rather than shooting from 50, 60 metres away. But of course, you spotted it. They settle their cutters very deep first, but were then able to recover by opening up space underneath the disc.
It definitely helps, I think, when you have that experienced defense that the Squiddos are giving them.
Fantastic left-handed grab there by Vo. Just read it in. Had it sighted all the way in. So 5-2 now. We've seen the Squiddos dominate play, but the score's still, it's definitely not out of reach.
No, not at all.
It's only 3 goals. They can take this one off Squiddos and put it in and then work with the breeze. It could very quickly be a 2-goal game or even a 1-goal game.
It'll be interesting to see after this timeout now how Lunchbox have adjusted their defense.
Yep. What do you think they'll run with?
I'm hoping they'll take your advice, put a force on.
Yeah.
I think they've got a bit of the downwind.
A couple of players we haven't seen involved yet. Moodwa, Sullivan. Short pull, Tullett, Egan Griffiths get it moving and get to half field before
Looking deep.
Before the defense is even set. Lateral to Prentice. Look to have tried to get him to work to that high side, but there you go. They've wheeled around the defense now, but and there we go. That's Tullett's got a layout. He's had to work for it, but I think that's the look they need to go for.
Looks like the disc has been
another disc
for a second time.
Yeah, so we're working through them.
We are.
No, that's the previous dub one.
We're at a Frisbee tournament. We've only got 2 discs. Sorry, gang.
All right, we're on to our third disc of the game.
So Cook to restart play, about 20 from goal. He's got a couple of cutters ahead of him on the restart. Well, they're all heading to that same side. A bit too crowded. Grimmin attacks the high side through Sullivan. Grimmin demanding every second pass here. He's definitely controlling the tempo of the offense.
Lunchbox looking quite calm and collected at this point.
Young with the disc, taking her time, sends
Oh,
it up.
it's up in the air.
A few underneath it, and then comes Cook from the side, and who's got it? Injury called. I think Prentice copped someone's cleat to the back of her heel on the way down. And there's going to be a bit of a chat, not necessarily a call yet. I think they're just going to say, look, there's obviously a lot going on there.
There were plenty of hands up in the air.
I mean, to me, it looked pretty clean. Like, obviously, there is going to be a little bit of shuffle, but it looks like, yeah, Cook definitely had his hand to that first. But, yeah, they've agreed that it was a clean catch. A lot of mess around the end zone, and there we go. He finds the space, finds Tan out on the high side. That's 5-3. That's the break they needed.
Back in it.
They've shown a bit of life now. Now, given we've already talked about it's the 4th game of the day. Lunchbox have a much, much bigger roster than the Squiddos. Do we think that's going to play at all?
I think given the experience of the Squiddos, they'll possibly be able to hang on, but I definitely think it will come into effect as the time clicks over.
Yeah, as you can see. Replay, there was a lot of traffic around there, and then
Lovely break there.
yeah, found Tan just hiding out on that side. Yeah, so 5-3, we see Egan Griffiths there. Hasn't taken many subs yet herself. She'll run through a lot of the game, being able to control the offense a bit.
Squiddos looking reasonably unfazed at this point.
But Lunchbox have just got to make them work. I think they've really got to, instead of just sort of doing one and done cuts, they've got to just keep repeatedly making them work. And try and wear him out through legs, because as the game goes on, being the 4th game of the day, we will start to see fatigue play a factor. Not only just in terms of long throws especially. So everyone's throwers are used to sort of seeing their receivers go at a certain pace, but by going forward, they're not as quick anymore. We can see some shots go a bit too far. Andrews. Vo and Ely on this one-on-one on the near side. That'll be a battle to watch.
Their work rate, you wouldn't think they've played as many games as they have.
Yeah. Barr takes a second go at that. He's working across the field. Egan Griffiths, nice little dish pass. Barr's only got eyes for the end zone. He spots up Andrews, and Andrews has got that easily.
Oh.
Doesn't land in. No, he's landed inbounds. He's done well. They shot that. It was a 2-on-1, but Andrews had the clear height advantage.
Yeah.
Good throw on the end. Targeted at that front corner of the end zone.
Squiddos' offense points are very quick.
Yeah,
they definitely are just working it
yeah.
at an insane rate at this point.
Yeah. Do you think it's that they just don't want the offensive points to last as long because they know that their short numbers could become a factor later in the game?
You know what? If they're playing easy and smart, then they're doing the right thing.
Yeah. Of course, many Australian representative players at the World Games level even. Tullett out there, third from the left. Egan Griffiths. Prentice, third from the right, all played most recent World Games. And of course, Ely and Dennis also playing senior national representative ultimate. Tullett sends that pull up. I think that's going to drift. That's gone. That is in the car park. That was landed deep and wide. I'm not sure what he was attempting to do there. Maybe again they're saving the legs. Don't want to sprint down off the pole.
This is a good chance to have a breather.
Put it out the back and have the rest. 6-3 to Squiddos at the moment. Elliot Corkill start with the disc. Take his time to get it up, but they'll take every moment they can get at the moment, Lunchbox. Set themselves up in a split stack, I think. They're going to try and isolate perhaps Grimmond. One out, but a lot of Squiddos defenders sitting deep. Davis spots the free player there in Zigman, but off the ends of her fingers.
All right, Lunchbox really have to clamp down now if they're going to stop this offense.
They should be mindful of these deep throws, I think. There
Absolutely.
we go. You can see Zigman peeling off the back and redeems the possession. Gets it back, Grimmond from Davis across to Cook. He's got Murphy and Ely one-on-one, but Gaunt finds space, heads under. Ely just clocking that lane, and Egan Griffiths with the run-through block. Zigman just made the mistake of pulling up there, and with Egan Griffiths on her hip.
Attack, attack, attack.
Tullett finds Phillip. He's got Dennis deep versus Davis, but has to go laterally instead. Dennis coming under now. Davis nearly gets a hand on it, and Phillip gets it back on the high side, moves it to Tullett. He's got McGuckin, he's got Ely, chooses Ely. Nice tidy goal. Game advisor Vet the win. Sticking the Jukes in the air, saying that's inbounds. And again, it's that clinical, we call it clinical. I call it, they're playing at a frenetic pace, the Squiddos, but the way they just steady themselves before each try and time their cuts, it just seems so smooth and clinical. But it's at a breakneck speed, they're doing everything.
They definitely take the first open throw and don't overthink too much. I think that's definitely a big difference we can see here between Squiddos and Lunchbox.
They're not looking for a good option, they just see a option and move it.
Yeah.
And their options just come one at a time, generally from the deep. So we sort of see them disappear off screen, but knowing they're going to just come flying back into the picture at pace. We see a Lunchbox doing the same, but probably not as consistently.
Yeah.
They're cutting the same way, like they'll head deep, then they'll come towards the disc, but they're not doing so at a pace where they're just out sprinting their Squiddos opponents. Sometimes, and I think Egan Griffiths might have done this on that last block, she hung back a step or two. So go on, throw that, see what happens, and just put on a burst of speed for the last couple of steps to get through.
It also gives the offense a sniff to think they can back off for a second.
Yep, I've got this. Sneaky but effective play, Tullett. Looks much better than the last pull. I mean, it's out of bounds, but not as far by the last one.
That's true. The cars go unscathed.
So at least to start. What offense are they running with here, Steph?
They've got an horror going.
They've got it set pretty deep though again, haven't they?
They've set very deep.
Almost.
I think it's working for them though.
McInnes. Good block there by Prentice Birchall.
What I like that Lunchbox are doing is working their wings to the centres.
Yeah. Andrews gets a clip on that, and Lease goes
great
big.
grab.
Reels it in.
Beautiful play by Lunchbox
And
there.
into Goebel. You were saying about the wing, Steph.
Yeah, they're definitely working in a triangle formation with the mids.
Yep.
It's getting that flow going as opposed to up and down the field.
Yeah, so sometimes when you start with a horizontal stack across the field, the wing defenders think, okay, the wings are the deep targets, so I'm going to sit out the back for a second. But then that just leaves the underspace wide and free. But it requires a fair bit of cooperation between your cutters to pull that play off. Definitely something I've worked on. And geez, Least did well to recover that that disc that was blocked by
that was a beautiful
Rob Andrews.
bid. And very worthwhile. That's what Lunchbox needed at this point.
Yeah, so 7-4. The advantage of the Squiddos there. They obviously want to get this one in to get to the half break. There's been a lot this weekend of sometimes the defender will get enough of a hand on it to change the shape of the throw, but it stays in the air, and I think Les just kept running thinking, okay, maybe. And as soon as it popped up in the air, he was at speed and thought, right, I've got this.
You're exactly right. Those plays have definitely made or broken games at this point. Nothing has been left untouched.
Yeah. Ball and short. Egan Griffiths plays it quickly to Tuller. They're just moving it so quickly to get to half field before the defense is even set. The early one out with Murphy. Murphy got the better of that one. Egan Griffiths. He's got Angelovic wide. Ely has put in some territory at this point. Burchett sends the shot up looking for Angelovic. Can he get there? What a grab!
Beautiful.
Jake Angelovic. The Geelong connection. Georgie Burchett and Jake Angelovic.
That was a lovely put by Georgie.
Oh, she just saw him going deep and thought, there's old mate. Off he goes. And geez, Angelovic was labouring, wasn't he?
Yeah. And that's half.
That's
for
half.
Squiddos.
So it's been a fairly quick half.
It has indeed.
Just over 30 minutes, but Squiddos take a 4-goal lead into the break. We're going to take a short break. We'll be back with the second half. And we're back with the second half of the pre-semi-final, the Australian Mixed Ultimate Championships of 2019, coming to you live from Bendigo, Victoria on Ultimate Australia YouTube. Simon Talbot here with Steph Spear. And it's hasn't been as one-sided a contest as the scoreline would suggest. Lunchbox are playing quite well, and crisp, smooth offense, just not converting their opportunities as much as Squiddos are. Simpson. Grimmond heavily involved in offense here. He's now, they've got it worked up to halfway, and he's taken over. Davis. Cook sends the big looping backhand out to Grimmond, and there we go. First strike
Worked
to
well.
Lunchbox.
Good way to come in from half.
So he saw, was it the horizontal set again from Lunchbox?
Yep. Not that time, that was a vert, I think.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah. Setting much shorter now, though, from earlier in the game.
Yeah, giving him more space out the back. Great throw there by Cook as well. Spotted Grimmond drifting deep there. You can probably see him, yeah, just off the edge of the screen there. And was that Andrews caught unaware. That's rare.
That is.
Probably didn't expect the throw to go to the higher side. It's probably did Squiddos have a force on? Were they trying to pin him to a sideline, do you think? Or
I think they just got caught off guard a little.
yeah, just didn't expect it. So let's see what their response is with them receiving the Paul Lunchbox. Energy lifting a little bit. The sideline vibe's sort of a bit, they're getting there. They're good. They're good. Just copped a few stairs on the way through. No, it's a good energy, but
you can tell it's game 8.
yeah, you can.
Yep.
There's room to lift. I think Squiddos are operating at capacity here. Lunchbox definitely have room to lift. Big wide pull. No one's game to catch that one. That's landed right in the back, and that's stayed. That's got a pin right back bar.
This is Lunchbox's chance now to clamp down.
Yeah, Prentice takes the short option. Sets herself to wind up, doesn't take it. Burchett moves it back to Prentice. Just Prentice is doing what she wants here. They've got to pay more attention to her. It's a zone look. Zone-ish look. I think they're just really, they've got one cutter, one defender poaching out the lane. Burchett realises she's the one that's poached off and has found room. Flores. Burchett, there we go. She's opened up that space. Tullett keeps working to the high side. Flores. Short to bar. They've got to pin down to this side again, but again, they're just going to let them. If you've got to pin to one sideline, you can't let them out easily. And Burchett, all on her own. Finds Ely. He'll continue to Tullett, you think? No. Vo's got that covered. Ely really wants that backhand, loses his footing. Back out to Prentice, to Phillip. No one moving in the end zone. Tullett, quick 1-2 with Phillip. Smooths it just quickly for the goal. It was a smart idea by Lunchbox to be able to have one defender just completely sag off her player and stand in that throwing lane. But the way around that is that that cutter understands that that's what's happening.
There was definitely still a lot of side movement.
So we saw Burchett, was the free cutter. At first she camped herself on this near sideline just to get those easy yards, but then just drifted out to the high side. And those throws to the high side are tricky, but when you've got a stationary unguarded target, Steph.
Yeah. I don't know about you, but I get the feeling that Lunchbox are always a little bit on the back foot when it comes to defense.
Yeah. They're sort of worried that a lot of these Squiddos players are capable of just completely breaking that force, and so they're trying to take away the dangerous inside look. I think they've just got to really guard the around and trust their stack defenders to take care of those inside shots.
Absolutely.
Just shift that force further around. Just see, I think if Squiddos play defense, you'll see what they do on the mark. They just really almost stand, a couple of them almost stand almost behind the thrower, just really guarding that shot to the high side. and just trusting the rest of their team. Andrews taking his time. He's allowed Tan just to get an easy shot off Grimmond.
That's a lovely floaty shot, that one.
Great throw.
All right, Lunchbox need to reel it in a little.
Inside Zigman. Not having a good game.
No.
But we saw, last time we saw her do that, we saw her get the run-through block a couple of passes later.
That's
so
true.
let's see if she can do it again. Tell it. Yeah, so they're really shading to block those downfield throws. Oh, good fake.
Huge fake.
But he's whipped that backhand too quickly and put it on the feet of Angelovic. So Lunchbox get a second look. Cook, Tan. There you can see Squiddos just really just deny that high side a lot more rather than letting it go forward. And there we go. As soon as they're able to get that throw out, yeah.
Excellent.
The second they can hit that high side shot cleanly, that's where the cuts come from. And Grimmond there with the goal.
And they're back within 2 now.
Yep, 8-6. Good response to the halftime break, Steph.
Very good response.
It's, you see the bottom edge of the Squiddos, few hands on hips there. They've got to be feeling it's 4th game. Everyone's legs run out at some point.
But they're a tough team. I doubt they're going to take their foot off the pedal at this
No,
stage.
of course not.
Yep.
They all know how to win, all these players. You can never, ever write this team off. You could be up 12-5 with 3 minutes to play, and you're still going to be going, oh, we need a plan.
It's only over when it's over, I think.
I think Ballarat, I think you had a game like that at one point.
We did, yeah.
Who was it against? Against Crank from Wollongong.
Yes.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it was a universe win to Crank, but
Yeah.
I think when you've got the fight mentality, as OG Squiddos do,
Of course, the game's not over. You can't just run the clock out in Ultimate. You have to score the last goal to win, so you can never completely avoid any tactics like sandbagging or just sort of running down the clock and stalling. You've got to keep scoring.
hopefully Lunchbox are feeling hungry now.
Yep.
And they're going to continue pushing through.
How long have you been sitting on that gag, Steph?
Which?
Lunchbox being hungry.
I really wanted to pull that out earlier, but...
Ball's gone out of bounds, so Bar will take it to the brick mark, so 45 metres to goal. They've got a horizontal stack here. Again, McInnes trying to sack. Oh, wow, uncharacteristic from Prentice, I think. Because McInnes had taken that lane, and I was just about to say Prentice is not the player you leave alone.
No.
But I think Bar just thought, I'll take the easy shot. Brown with the disc now. Bar thought, I'll take the easy shot, but Prentice was like, I'll attack here. And just two different ideas resulted in the turn. Vo to Birchall, what a grab. Full extension. Sends the hammer looking for Murphy. Murphy versus Andrews. Oh. Andrews read that out of the hand and got across.
I liked the idea, though.
Yeah, like Lachlan Murphy's a terrifically talented receiver, and
Yeah.
I mean, if you're gonna throw an overhead shot at someone, it's gonna be him.
Absolutely.
Barter Flores charging up to get the return, but denied by Brown. That was good. And Andrews, he's lost his footing, and it's gone straight over the top to Murphy. McInnes now. He's got a 2-on-1 in the end zone, so looks it off. Birchall. No dump there. She's on her own. Doesn't matter, though. Murphy pops it up over the top looking for Vo. Vo went off. Vo went early. McInnes stayed down, and Ely's found space between the two of them to bump it out of bounds. So Lunchbox, they're earning these opportunities, but
really
they just got to. They sort of seem to change their plan once they get to that goal line.
Yeah.
Barter Andrews. Not much coming out of the pig called. And happened just in the middle towards the field there. And the throw's gone to Dennis, and I think they'll agree it'll stay with Dennis. It didn't really affect. They agreed that it's going to stay with Dennis. Didn't affect that play. So Dennis will restart. No one ahead of her, though. Dishes out to Bar. Bar's got.
Dennis is going.
Yep. Gee, she's got pace, hasn't she?
Absolutely.
Andrews. Looks back to Bar. Bar's covered by Cook there. By Joel Cook, that is. Egan Griffiths. Bar gets it back, sends the backhand up. Looking for Dennis.
Oh,
She's done it. What a catch.
great run by Dennis, though.
Amazing effort by McInnes to make a challenge of it, though. I think,
Got a hand on it for sure.
yeah, but
Yep.
Dennis was contending with the back line of the end zone as well, so great spatial awareness to
Absolutely.
take note of not only where she was on the field, but her defender coming in hot as well. That's a huge letter for the Squiddos. We really should have seen an 8-7 game by now. Lunchbox just had a couple of opportunities there that went begging. That's fine. Their cutting around the end zone's been fine, like the structure and tidy, but just the throws they're taking in, they're not bad options. They're just a bit hurried, I think. They just get a bit excited.
I don't think they've had any in this end zone here that they're currently starting in. All their goals have been
Up to the right.
in the other side.
Yeah, right. Sometimes hard to score those downwind ones. You just get a bit complacent in the back of your mind thinking, nah, this is easy. But downwind, it's the shorter throws on downwinds, they're the hard ones.
Absolutely.
The wind just pushes them down sometimes. So, what a turnaround. It was 8-6 after a late rally. A couple of chances to go 8-7, but now 9-6. Just one number difference either way, but it could be such a, feels like such a canyon. Fantastic pull. That's going to land deep in their end zone. Unless they catch it. No, opting not to catch it. It's fielded on the bounce. Grimmond and Cook. And Davis. Zone set up here. They've got 4 around the disc. Even Griffiths even just playing in nice and close. They found space through the middle to Tiong.
This is quite an aggressive zone by Squiddos.
Yeah. They've spread it out a bit more. I think they've got McGuckin playing one out on Grimmond, knowing that he's in trouble. But
That was a lovely shot.
yeah, great shot to Simpson. Tiong
Oh,
heads
easy.
wide.
Beautiful by Lunchbox.
They made a mockery of that zone.
They really did.
We saw it start nice and aggressive. They had 4 around the disc, but then I think what was happening was McGuckin was playing one-on-one defense on Grimmond because they thought he was going to be the damaging one.
Lunchbox really showing that they have some of those overhead downfield shots.
Yep. As soon as Grimmond realised he was being targeted, he just got out of there, got out of space, dragged that defender with him. You can see Simpson there was unguarded. And Tiong had 2 to shoot at.
Really lovely spacing on the field.
Yep. That was Elliot Cook with that over-the-top shot. That's the risk with playing a zone. You're there to contain the short passes, and you're letting them have those over-the-top shots, but if you leave them too open and wide, it can just be too comfortable for the thrower. Of course, the other pre-semi-final action happening, that was 8-4 at half to Karoma, we heard. And of course, you can check that semi-final out now on Alti.tv if you're supporting Karoma or Credo at this tournament. Offering that game for free to all viewers today as a special offer. Bar to Prentice. Prentice, no one moving for it, no one. Has to look back at Bar, who has to create something.
No cuts coming either, though, from the stack.
Yeah, just complete lack of move from the stack. Just meant that Prentice and Bar could only go to each other for so long. Nishiura.
That was a little uncharacteristic. Hadn't seen that all game.
Yeah, Nishiura getting involved in the game now. To Vo. He's got 2 looks here, Nishiura. Goebel putting in work. Leiska's hit that break side, but there's been a pick caught. I didn't see that, Steph, did you?
No. I'm not sure where that was called from.
Yeah, from the stack somewhere. So, Nishiura. He's got no reset option behind him, but not phased by it. I think Vo will probably drift back to be a lateral option.
I think Dis was coming back on
Leisk
5.
and Rob Andrews gets that run through block, and
Oh, there's been a call.
Leisk, he has called the foul. So Andrews, he can believe it. He took off to the end zone and caught the easy throw from Barr. But it's going to come back. I think they're going to discuss it. And, well, Andrews needs to be back to discuss it first and foremost. I don't think he's pleased. He reckons he got that clean.
What are your thoughts on that, D?
So you see a look there. I don't know. I think there was contact, but of course, this depends. I think, like on first look, I'm pretty sure he came over his shoulder, but Rob Andrews, I think, believes he got that clean. So just without much of a chat, just sends that back. Let's have another look there. Oh, yeah, no, look, I'd say that is a foul. Like
Yeah.
it has to happen before, during, or after the play. And Brown there's another one to that end zone, Steph. If it's contact before, during, or after the play, and even though, yeah, he got the clean block, couldn't do it without causing contact, so. Tullett, he's got 2 deep looks. Andrews comes back under. So you can see Dennis heading deep. Yep, there we go. The shot's going up. McInnes is there with her. There's plenty of numbers there. Barr getting involved. Gets fingertips to it, and Goebel
Great contest.
gobbles it up. Nishiura heads back to Leask. Leask, he's got everyone streaking past him.
He's asking for movement. Needs someone to
Yeah,
throw to.
he's getting a bit. Brown attacks. He's got McInnes solo at the back there. She lofts it high. McInnes, can she reel it in? No, heads out of bounds. A good option, that one. They had...
McInnes was very free.
Yeah, the Squiddos didn't have their defense set up, and McInnes was on, just gave it too much. I think just got too excited. Just
Too many wheat picks,
Yep.
as they would say.
send it long. Didn't think about where she would place the shot, just that she got the distance.
Had nice shape, though.
Yeah. So we'll see. You can see Andrew set at the back of the stack at the far right of screen. He'll be the first look here. Barr with the disc.
Looking.
His head's deep. Andrews. This has gone a
Sitting
couple of
up.
nights later. Andrews has got this. He's got the right set. Oh, he's gone. He's gone early. Went very early. He
Too much time to think about it.
yeah. Like he wasn't 100% sure where that sideline was, so I had to go for it.
Great for Lunchbox having so many
Yeah.
bodies underneath as well.
Yep. So Nishiura to retrieve the disc, about 40 from goal, checking he's got the right one. Interesting how they've got the reset setup play with Vo playing in front of Nishiura, which affords him 2 directions he can go. Goebel to Leask, and another block on that one. That one a lot cleaner. Leask agrees with that.
Yeah.
That turn will stay. Barr rushes to it. Looks for Tullett, heads backwards for a nice little 1-2. Look at that movement. Does a good thing to him. Flores stands and ready. She has a look upfield, and then great coverage on Barr by Goebel there. Tullett to Prentice. She's going to hit that high side. There you go. Dennis continues that way.
That was
Nice
a
little
lovely
lefty to
throw.
Barr. Yep. And again, you give them one look at that high side, they pounce.
Yep,
And
they
they
run
just
with
keep
it.
moving.
Yep.
Yep. So it takes it to 11-7 to the Squiddos' advantage. And these Lunchbox have been really great since this half break, but just they've looked a better. I'd say they've looked the better team on offense, but just
Those end zone plays.
Yeah.
So many shots.
yep. They've got their hands on it plenty of times, but
Yeah.
see Prentice, yeah, the second she had that inside shot, bang, she looks for someone there. Dennis knew that that was the look, so cut inside, and 2 passes later in the end zone to Ely.
Again, just natural flow.
Yep. And it's just understanding between teammates of what their favourite throws are. So
Yeah.
Dennis and Prentice, having spent time at ellipsis together, just Dennis knew that centre of the field, that inside look, was what Prentice was after, and it was just given to her. I think they were too worried about the forehand down the line to the corner when there wasn't really much there to guard.
No, not at all.
See Tullett. McGuckin, he's been doing a fantastic job on D. Haven't seen do much on offense, but I guess it's not really his job. If he can just lock down their best cutter, we'll probably see Guckin will probably take maybe Grimmond or Murphy at this point and just really lock down on it. That Paul's gone
Sailing out.
drifted wide. Might they run with the zone, do you think, Steph, or stick with match?
Looks like Lunchbox might have the slight downwind, so I think they'll possibly stay with the match at this point.
Yeah. So it looks like we've got Egan Griffiths on Sullivan. So Egan Griffiths will probably sit out deep to protect that deep shot. We've got Tullett, one out with Grimmond. You can also see Burchett up in the top right there. She's also sitting out ready for that deep shot. So it's going to be cuts towards the disc available. Cook. There we go. Nice little set play, all covered by Squiddos there. Can't get it to Grimmond. Great shot out to Davis. Davis looking to move it. Murphy to that side and foul called. Yeah,
yep.
bit of a knock on the throw, which puts the disc into the ground. Guckin was right on Murphy's hip there. We thought that might be the matchup. Davis will probably look to cut back to Cook here.
Disc is back in.
Yeah.
Not a lot of movement this time from Lunchbox.
That's uncontested foul. Another knock on the disc. It's Brent is very active on the mark, not letting a lot come out cleanly, and Grimmond that time. Unguarded. Egan Griffiths jumps on the mark out of necessity.
Squiddos definitely locked down on this offense.
Yep. And Tullett gets it over the top of Sullivan. Moves it quickly with Prentice and just goes 1-2, just racking up the Supercoach points. Prentice over the top to Egan Griffiths unguarded.
There's some kind of call happening.
But yeah, the pick called happened at the back there. I think there was a... I'm just going purely by body language here. You can, just off the screen, Jake Angelovich has got hands on hips going, I was free, champ. Sharing a bit of a laugh. Grimmond and Angelovich, it's still one-on-one there, but they're just going to move it quickly. Phillip. Just Griffiths. Griffiths move towards her. Beautiful fake there. Heads up the line this time to Prentice. Great layout. Secures that catch. Right on the doorstep now. Griffiths loses his footing. Had to put it up. Gets high. What a take. Over the top, the advantage of Tullett. And again, they've let that wrong side off.
Yep.
And Angelovich just pounced on that opportunity.
And that's another for Squiddos.
Yeah, it's 12-7. It's just, Lunchbox do so well to lock everything down, but the second they get a bit too over-eager on protecting that next pass across, they lose the force, and of course, once the marker is shuffled around, it means all their teammates are instantly out of position.
Can't catch up after that.
You see again, a couple of home runs. Terrific grab by Egan Griffiths. Another one by Tullett. And you see that Cook, just got over eager, got too far across, and it just meant that it was a nice, easy backhand to Angelovich.
Yeah.
Angelovich represented Australia at the under-23 level in 2010. So quite some time ago, but stepped away from the elite level of the sport for a while, but he's spent a bit of time with the Geelong Mudlarks at Division 2 level. There's his first look at poking his head back into the elite scene. Looks like he hasn't really missed a step skill-wise.
I mean, they do say age is just a number.
Yep. He claims he's not at the elite fitness that he was, but still, I'd take an 80% Jake Angelovich over a lot of players.
Yeah, I'd like to know what scale he's doing that on.
Birchall. It's the middle of the field. Nishira. It's Veronica getting involved there. McInnes. Vo. Lots of cuts happen. McInnes is deep. Complete. He's got two options.
Thought he was going to send that.
Yeah, reels it in.
Oh, just a bit high.
Yeah, too high for Renica there. She covered so much territory that possession. Egan Griffiths. You've got to lock down here, Lunchbox. Got to put something on. There we go. They've tightened up now. The cutting options dry up. Egan Griffiths. Inside break to Dennis. Dish out to Tullett. Tullett wants that low side, and he's done it to Pete Early. And just hangs onto it by fingernails, but does enough.
Nearly looked effortless, that
Yeah.
throw.
They did a bit better that time, Lunchbox. They didn't get over eager jumping onto any looks the throwers made to that high side. So they locked it on, and it meant that crossfield shot from Tullett, like it only was about a metre in bounds. So
Yep.
a much more pressured throw than a simple backhand. So it's one of those things, you've got to get the basics right before you can start building from there.
For sure. So
So you see that crossfield shot, yeah. Oh no, it was well in bounds. What am I talking about? As we see, like, yeah, though he got around, but he didn't sort of overbite on it. Just was able to lock that force on. And still caught Cook off guard. And Peter Early's just got that explosive pace off the mark, doesn't he?
for sure.
So timeout called by Lunchbox, getting in nice and tight. So the story from here, we won't reach time cap, I don't think. It's still 15 minutes away.
Yeah.
Winner of this semi-final goes on to face Soypud from New South Wales. Did you face them in pool play, Steph?
They were our very first game, actually. Definitely a strong team.
Yep.
So
What kind of style do they like? Do they like to move it sort of smooth and silky like we're seeing Squiddos do, or are they more of a stand and deliver type of team?
I would say they're pretty smooth and silky.
Yep.
They do have a lot of athleticism on their team, though, so they definitely use that to their advantage.
Yeah. And defensively, how do they go? They look to just contain, or is it more aggressive defense where they throw themselves at a lot of things? And
I think they're very adjustable on their defense.
yeah, don't take a lot of risks. Just
Yeah.
keep it nice and calm and just
Very
containing.
textbook defense,
Yeah.
but it does the job for them.
And having a look at, we'll assume that Squiddos are going to go through in this game if it continues like it does. What would be your, not necessarily predictions of the score, but how would a game between Squiddos and Soypud play out based on what you've seen of both teams?
I definitely think the first half time of the game will be quite neck and neck. I definitely think one team will be able to run away with it, though.
You sort of think that whoever gets that first defensive break will just be able to take control of the game.
Yep. But there is a lot of talent in both teams.
Yeah.
Some newer than others, but
I think the advantage Squiddos will have is a lot of them have played together for a lot longer than Soypud have.
yeah.
So those connections are well built and well established. And so Lunchbox from here, they'll be in the 5 to 8 bracket. We don't know who their opponent will be, but the form they've gained from this game, surely you'd expect their first game tomorrow morning to be a lot more competitive in this one. I keep talking to downstairs. They've played exceptionally well this game. They've been competitive
This
the whole way.
tournament,
But just,
honestly, Lunchbox have done a commendable effort to
Yeah.
place where they're going to place, and I don't think they should turn a nose up at that at all.
absolutely. But the real difference has just been those end zone conversions. Squiddos, as soon as whenever they're within 10 metres of the end zone, we're seeing them get the goal in. Break cut across by Simpson. And Prentice did well to cover that in. Put pressure on it, Cook.
Lunchbox using that very deep play again.
Simpson covered so much territory at this point. Not much happening towards her. She's got Grimond as an up the line look and has to put it around.
Oh, someone needs to get
Numbers
under
underneath
that.
it. A lot of contact.
It's like Seb Barr down there.
Yeah, I think he's just copped a bit of a cramp there, so we'll want a hand up.
Is that an injury hand on head, or has he hit his head?
I think he's got an injury. He'll just take the sub.
Those old man muscles aren't
Oh, that's,
recovering the way they used to.
No, it was Serena Tiong took the injury. She copped a bit of a knock in that pack there as well. Let's have a discussion. I don't think there's been a foul called yet, but Generally, when you see these pack situations, I think someone did go in hot and heavy there. I think that Murphy, I think, sort of came in a bit hard as everyone was pushing back. So as it floated overhead, everyone started to move backwards as Murphy was still coming in.
Yeah.
To me, I'd call that incidental. I don't think there's really much in it.
there was no intention behind that.
No, of course not. But so I think they're just going to call it a turnover stance, which is the right outcome. It's always worth.
Didn't wait for anything there.
Yeah, it's always worth having a chat.
Absolutely.
It doesn't have to be a call straight away. Andrews, he spotted up Bar. Bar is absolutely charging. He's going to reel it in, is he? Murphy gets to it. What a pit. What a block from Lachlan Murphy. Just set himself up beautifully. Launched at the last possible second. So we get another look at that. The shot from Andrews, that was perfectly weighted. Bar was charging. He didn't look for the disc in the last minute. Had Phillip there to enable him. And Murphy, what a block.
Great body position, 2v1.
Did so well to get to that. Could that spark Lunchbox here? Got to work on offense. He's going to have to go again, but this time Sullivan gets in there to back him up. Moodwa. Not much happening towards her. Simpson breaks out, but she's ably covered, and the throw goes straight through her arms. Moodwa was just left abandoned there. Didn't have anyone coming towards her.
Yep.
Bar gets it moving quickly. Adelaide Dennis has busted deep, but they're moving it to that high side before shooting, and there we go. They found her, but it's gone. She's...
Did that graze the ground?
Everyone's paused and stopped, but no, she's not inbound. She's runs a little 1-2 to Andrews. It looked very low there, Steph.
It did look very low.
Yeah. I think she wanted to sort of had it, but then sort of dipped it onto the ground as she caught it. It was right off her toes. And so 14-7. So we get another look. We're going to have another look at that bid from Murphy. That was incredible.
That was excellent.
Had 2 to beat. Had Phillip, who's not he's a fairly big fella, just got ahead of him, but timed that beautifully.
Really did. Mowed it down.
Yep.
Bid at the right time.
Any later and Phillip would get involved in the contest, so drift over to Bar. Any earlier, he wasn't going to get it, so.
And you know what, in this wind, hit it at a great angle for it to not be.
Yeah. Just did enough, just knocked it forward just so it would continue out the back of the end zone. Didn't try and go for the big slap.
Yep.
It would change the shape of the throw, just enough on it. I keep going to say ellipsis. It's the Squiddos. The jerseys. Squiddos potentially last point of the game. They'll certainly want it to be the last point of the game. Get ready and freshen up for the semi-final tomorrow morning at 9 AM, which will be live here on the Ultimate Australia YouTube channel. 9 AM Australian Eastern Daylight Time. Vo. Virgil's just sent it. Looking for McInnes. McInnes has been moving at pace all game.
She's timed her deep cut perfectly.
Yeah,
she knows how to be there.
She's definitely been one of Lunchbox's better players.
Yeah.
Not only today, but for the whole tournament, just the games I've seen. The intensity and the work rate of her cutting and her defense has been amazing to watch. And Prentice says sorry about that, Rob, and she had to have a couple of goes at it. It was a tough one to catch. So Vo, can they convert this time, Steph?
I hope so. Oh,
hammer shot over the top, looking again for McInnes. McInnes saying, just pop it in the air, mate. That's where. I just apologising, saying, yeah, too much on it. Sorry to put it at your toes.
I'm sure Squiddos are ready to.
Yep. This is a good chance for. Oh, Nishira nearly got the better of Tullett there. Locks that backhand force on, but the big shot around to Burchett. Burchett wants to continue that way, but good by McInnes to kill that. Forces Tullett to go back in their own end zone now. Nice little 1-2. Tullett, he's got the shot looking. He's got McGuckin, he's got Andrews against Vo. That's going to drop short. Vo's got position here. And McGuckin goes over the top. Amazing grab. At least caught in his tail as well. He's got a few options here. Sends a nice backhand out to Burchett, and that is it. The game finishes on a huge play from Sam McGuckin with a massive grab over 2 lunchbox defenders, closing in hot. And that concludes our game, 15-7 inside just a fraction under 74 minutes. So definitely a lot faster paced game than we've seen from most games all weekend. And we'll see OG Squiddos going to face Soy Pud in the semi-final tomorrow morning, and that game will be at 9 AM on the Ultimate Australia YouTube channel. The other semi-final still going, so if you want to see a bit more action today, head over to ulti.tv. We can't see the score from here, Steph, but it looks like a close, intense game. And yeah, definitely still some action to be said. So head on over to there, watch out the game. Ulti TV will also have the other semi-final, which will be Piewagon versus the winner of Microroma versus Credo. Thanks very much for your company today. I'm Simon Talbot.
I'm Steph Spiehoff.
And we'll catch you again for more Ultimate action tomorrow.
See you then.